This lesson is going to review more safe practices for working online. Specifically, we're going to take a look at sharing personal information and identity theft. There's a very simple rule when it comes to sharing personal information. Don't do it. You should never share personal information online. That includes your name, your age, your birthday, your address, your zip code, your telephone number, and your email address. Now you may be sitting there thinking to yourself, but wait, when I need to sign up for something online, I need to put in a lot of this information in order to access whatever it is I'm trying to access. Maybe I'm creating an account for an online game, for instance. I need to include this information. No, there's nothing in the rules that say you can't just make it up. And that is the most safe thing that you can do, is to create this information for yourself. Do not include your real information. If somebody ever asks you online to give them your birthday or your address or your telephone number, don't do it. It is simply not safe. Some websites will ask for your email address in order to verify who you are. One thing that you can do, what a lot of people do, is to create a separate email address for things like this. For instance, maybe you want to create a Yahoo or a Hotmail email address just for when you sign up for things. And of course, all the information that you give to that email address is all made up. That way it completely protects your online security. You're never sharing any personal information about yourself. If you do share personal information, it can put you at risk. It can put you at risk for cyberbullying or harassment. If people now have your telephone number or your email address, it just adds more ammunition and it's easier for cyberbullies to contact you. The same thing goes for harassment. Online predators can use information that you give out in order to track you, in order to contact you directly. Remember, just because the boy that you're talking to online says that he is 13 or 14, doesn't mean he really is. Guys, the girl that you're talking to online on Facebook, just because she says she's 16 does not mean that she really is. You cannot rely on people telling you the truth online. You always need to suspect that they're not telling you the truth. And it sounds a little jaded. I mean, certainly you don't want to believe the worst of everyone. But in the end, your safety is the first priority, and so you need to be careful with the information you share and with how much you share with the people that you're in contact with online. The last thing that sharing personal information can put you at risk for is identity theft. Now, we already talked a little bit about identity theft way back when we talked about cyberbullying. Identity theft is a form of cyberbullying. But identity theft can be other things as well. It can be a way of, when you get older, somebody hacking into your bank account, for instance. So identity theft certainly applies to situations that you're facing now, but may also apply later in life. So let's spend a little bit more time talking about identity theft. First of all, how does identity theft happen? Well, first way, and most common way at this point, is probably you give out your password to your friends. I know a lot of students tend to do this. Keep in mind that your friends today may not be your friends tomorrow, and so you never know who that friend is going to share your personal password with. So you never want to share it with anyone. Someone might also see you enter your password. Somebody happens to be standing behind you when you enter your password into the computer and can tell what you're typing. You might not log off properly from your computer, so you forget to log off, person sits down after you, and suddenly they have access to all of your information on the computer. You check a box to remember your password, and then somebody other than you uses that website on that computer, and suddenly they're logged in as you. You don't create a secure password. You can always review the video on user or screen names and passwords in order for a refresher on creating a secure password. In some instances, a hacker application captures your password. This is more the case of public computers, not so much the computers that you would most likely be using. But this is possible that a hacker can actually put on an application onto a computer, or I'm thinking of a movie where they actually attached it to an ATM so that they could get debit card numbers. But that is possible and a way to steal identity. You also might be tricked into entering your password on a phishing site. A phishing site is a site that is set up to look identical to a site that you might use, but it's not the real site. For instance, perhaps somebody's trying to steal Facebook usernames and passwords. So they set up a fake Facebook account that looks identical to the real account and sends you a link in your email that there's some issue with your Facebook account and you need to click on the link to log into Facebook. So you click on that link, it takes you to what looks like Facebook, you log in, and lo and behold, it wasn't Facebook, and now they have your password. Again, this is something that will happen outside of the school environment generally, but you can always protect yourself from this by paying careful attention to the top of the screen. You should recognize in that web address bar the name of the website you're actually going to. So it's always good to check up there and confirm it. So how do you protect yourself against identity theft? Well, first of all, never give your password to anyone. Doesn't matter if they're your best friend, don't share your password. Pay attention to who is watching you log in. Is there somebody hovering behind you when you're trying to log in? Are they watching over, if they're sitting next to you, are they watching your screen or your fingers as you type? Pay attention to these things. Be aware. Make sure that you always remember to log out properly. Never leave a computer logged in. Never have your computer remember a password for you. Create secure passwords. Remember, this was reviewed in an earlier lesson. And change them regularly. You should not have the same password all year long. You should be changing it at least every month and a half, 2 months or so. And do not write down your password. Your password doesn't do you any good as a secure password if you happen to write it in the inside of your school planner and you left your planner laying on your desk. So don't write down your passwords. It makes it really easy for somebody to find them. And don't click on suspicious links. If you get an email about something wrong with your Facebook or your MySpace account, do not click on the link that's included with it. Go directly to that webpage the way that you normally do, so that you know for sure that you're actually going to the website you want to be on, and not some website somebody created in order to steal your password. Inevitably, at some point in your life, there's a very good chance that your identity might be stolen. No matter how secure we try to be, unfortunately, it does happen. I know that it's happened to me. Didn't matter that I was following all of the guidelines and the rules, my identity was stolen. Somebody did hack into my email. It was a little disconcerting. I got an email from myself, since I have multiple email addresses, and I knew that I hadn't sent it, so I knew that my identity had been stolen. Somebody had hacked into that email account. So what do? Well, the first thing that you should do is tell your parents. They need to know, that way they can help to make sure you further protect yourself. If it happens at school, make sure you tell school administrator. You can tell your teacher, you can tell the principal, you can talk to the technology people, but make sure you tell somebody at school what has happened, especially if it's a school account. Make sure you contact friends and family just in case someone contacts them pretending to be you. For instance, when my email address was hacked and I knew somebody was sending out emails from my account, I made sure that I contacted everyone directly in my address book just to let them know that I was not the one sending emails out from that account. Change your password immediately for the account that was broken into. And then if you've used that same password for any other account that you use, so for instance, sometimes I use the same password for more than one account, then make sure if you have done that, you change the password for any other account that you're using that same password for. Because if they were able to get into one account using it, it's a good bet they're going to try your other account. You should also contact the website administrator. Most things like email, like Facebook, they all have a place where you can contact if your identity has been stolen. Make sure that you do that. If you know how it was stolen, make sure you give them that information as well. But they do need to be aware of that. Best thing to do if your identity is stolen, first of all, don't panic. As I said, it's not the end of the world. It does happen. It's kind of scary when it happens at first. But as long as you go through these steps to make sure that everything's taken care of and covered, you really can resolve the situation. Of course, it's best to protect yourself before it happens, but should identity theft happen to you, these are the steps that you really should follow. And again, one of the best ways to protect identity theft, make sure you're not giving out any personal information to anyone online. No matter what the reason is, they're saying they are requesting it from you.